Hey everybody, welcome back to Whiteboard Finance. My name is Marco and I'm here to help you master your money and build your wealth. Today we're talking about something huge that's happening in financial markets. Gold is absolutely crushing everything right now. So while the S&P 500 has erased over $5 trillion, gold is set to cross above a record $20 trillion in market cap. So gold has actually quadrupled the S&P 500's return over the last 12 months, and that is a major signal that something big is going on. So what is gold actually telling us? Let's break it down. So if you've been following the markets, you know that stocks have been shaky. Since March 2024, the S&P 500 is up 11%, but gold, it's actually up 44%, if you can believe that. And while the S&P 500 is down 5% year to date, gold is up over 10% year to date. That is not normal. So historically, gold does well when the dollar is weak and interest rates are low. But right now, the dollar is strong, interest rates are high, stocks have been relatively strong, but gold just keeps climbing. So that tells us something different is happening at the global level. Physical gold imports are also through the roof. So in January of 2024, U.S. gold imports hit a record $30.4 billion, doubling what we saw in 2020 during the peak pandemic panic. So this means investors aren't just trading gold ETFs, they're buying physical gold at a historic rate. Okay, China's doing this, India's doing this, a lot of people are doing this, a lot of countries, a lot of nation states are doing this. So people always ask me, hey Marco, should I buy physical gold? Should I buy gold ETFs? Should I buy Bitcoin? Should I buy Bitcoin ETFs? I've always been a fan of the actual thing, okay, the bare asset that Bitcoin and gold are. Why would you want to hold an ETF? That's just showing you a snapshot of a picture of your gold. It's not actually being a bare asset like it is. You don't have possession of the physical asset. So if you take a look at this chart, you can see this. This is an absolute spike. I've never seen anything like this. A lot of people are talking about with the audit of Fort Knox and all that, which I won't get into in this video. They're saying that, oh, this is us reclaiming our gold and, trying to fill the vaults before the audit. But I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. But just a fun fact, China's gold reserves hit a record $73.5 billion last month. India's gold reserves hit $70.9 billion, also a record. And the global demand jumped 24% year over year in 2024 to hit a record $382 billion. People worldwide want more gold than ever, and that brings us to the next point. So if we look at the U.S. government spending the next 10 years on par with World War II levels, you can see this is a percentage of expenditures as GDP. Okay, if you look at right here during COVID, it was 54%. Great financial crisis, 43%. World War II was 44%. But also, you look at all these Google trends, people are searching more and more for recession. They're spiking again, reaching levels we haven't seen since 2008 and 2020. So 67% of U.S. consumers now believe a recession is coming within the next 12 months. This means that investors are getting defensive. They're pulling money from stocks and piling it into gold. In fact, last week, U.S. stocks saw $1.1 billion in outflows while gold continued to rise. So if we take a look at this chart, you can see where the inflows and outflows are actually happening. So these are weekly flows by client, sector, and size. So if you look at this from Bank of America by sector, ETFs saw the biggest inflows and tech saw the biggest outflows. Okay, so if you look at these charts or these bars right here, light blue is showing last week, dark blue is the 4-week average. And if you look at last week, which is March 3rd to March 7th, financials and tech are absolutely getting crushed. As we've seen, I've made videos about this all this week, you guys. I've been on a roll. I've been busting them out, okay? So this is pretty important. And then also, if you look at the demand for gold based on the last thing that we talked about, in blue, we have India's gold reserves. In black, we have Chinese gold reserves. This has been absolutely pumping since basically 2015, as you can see right here where my cursor is. But also, you have to keep in mind that trade war tensions are heating up, okay? So according to Bank of America's latest fund manager survey, 58% of institutional investors say gold is the best performing asset in a trade war. So even if the US dollar strengthens, fund managers still expect gold to go higher. So on top of that, money supply is expanding again. In January of 2024, M2 money supply, which is basically all the currency units inside the system, it's a key measure of cash inside the economy, for those that don't know. It grew 3.9% year over year. This is the fastest pace in 30 months. So as history shows, when money supply expands, gold becomes more valuable. And if you guys are looking for a place to buy physical gold, other than Costco, because they're always sold out, I've been buying gold from JM Bullion. I've been buying from them for 10 years, you guys. Here's a picture of my receipts, okay? So I've always kept precious metals as a part of my portfolio. It's always been a percentage of my net worth. I try to keep it around 5%. Some people think that's way too low. Some people think that's too high. But at the end of the day, I buy physical gold. The reason for that is because I like to give it away. Knock on wood, one day when I have grandkids, hopefully if I have great grandkids, if I live that long, I would love to be able to give this away for like weddings and presents and things like that. And also, gold has been money for 5,000 years, you guys. Some people make fun of me. Some people don't understand why, because it has no intrinsic value. But at the end of the day, it has preserved wealth for 5,000 years, and there's a reason for that. So that's why I buy a little bit of gold, a little bit of Bitcoin. So let's get into the next slide here. So just to back up the latest M2 money supply metrics that I've been talking about, you can see right here that it's been growing like crazy, okay? We did go through a little bit of a lull where it was actually declining, which is typically a good thing. When you have more currency units in the system, that's basically inflation in a nutshell. If you look at M2 money supply, that's almost the actual rate of inflation, okay? If you look at the S&P 500, that's almost the actual rate of inflation. Obviously, different things inflate at different speeds. We have eggs right now at $8, $9 a dozen. That's insane. But in my opinion, inflation affects people differently. If you're a 12-year-old living in your parents' basement, playing video games, you have no inflation rate, right? If you're a father of 4 and all your kids need braces and college education, your inflation rate is something else, right? So this is just a chart of the M2 money supply. Okay, so what does this all mean for investors? So let's sum this up. So gold is outperforming almost every asset class, okay? It's actually outperforming Bitcoin at the time of this recording. It's breaking traditional trends. It's rising alongside a strong dollar and high rates. Physical gold demand is surging, not just in the U.S., but globally. Investors are ditching U.S. bonds in favor of gold, believe it or not. And recession fears are rising. This is not a fear-mongering channel. You have to be incredibly low IQ to believe that this is a fear-mongering channel. I'm just presenting facts, okay? We talked about the inverted yield curve. The yield curve uninverted, and guess what? Recession looks like it's on the horizon, okay? It's not fear-mongering. It's just staying informed. So gold has been the go-to hedge. I've never seen it spike this fast in my life. Maybe like 07, 08 when silver was like skyrocketing to $40 an ounce. But everything is coming back. And I mean, if you just look at the charts, gold has crushed the S&P 500 over the past year. However, zoom out. That's why I have a little bit of all these things in my portfolio. So should you be buying gold? That's completely up to you. For me, it's more of a wealth preservation, insurance policy, nostalgia, and gift giving type of asset inside my portfolio. I have it alongside with collectibles, trading cards, collector cars, Bitcoin, alternative investments, things like that. So only you can come to that decision. But hopefully you got value out of this video. If you're not aware of what gold has been doing this past year, now you know. Thank you so much. Please share the video, comment, like, subscribe, smash the bell. Oh, do the YouTube thing. No, just gently click the subscribe button, gently click the bell for notifications. Just be a normal human being. All right, thank you so much, guys. And as always, have a prosperous day. If you think this is a fear-mongering channel, you are literally on the left side of the bell curve of the IQ scale, okay? And not necessarily that's a bad thing. I actually enjoy the midwit meme where you have the Neanderthal on the left, then you have like the millennial Zoomer crying in the middle, and then you have like the genius, cloaked wise person on the right. But yeah, guys, this isn't a fear-mongering channel. Let's get real here. All right, thank you.